heel. My left leg had decided to float near the surface. I was still dazed from the impact and grateful that Dad had taken control of the situation. I reassured myself that after a couple of minutes, the feeling would come back. Then we could all laugh about the time I made a clumsy dive into the shallow end of a pool. A welcome feeling of calm washed over me. Dad checked me over with one hand while the other one supported my head. My friend Dafydd was on the other side, supporting my torso with both arms. Together they floated me over to the edge of the pool and my head came to rest in the hands of Diane, a family friend who was waiting for me by the side of the pool. As another friend called for an ambulance, my elation at having been pulled from the bottom of the pool began to ebb away. Staring down at my lifeless body bobbing in the water, I realised that I wouldn't be hauling myself out of the pool, wobbling over to a sun lounger and laughing about my lack of diving prowess. There wouldn't be a hastily made sign popped up next to the pool saying, "No diving, Ed." This wasn't going to turn out that way. Dad had made the decision that I shouldn't be lifted out of the pool until the ambulance came. I tried to distract myself by letting my eyes roam over the endless blue sky. There was no pain. In fact, I couldn't really feel anything at all. Peering down at my legs, I noticed that my right leg had floated up to join my left. They looked like they were still attached to my body, but they certainly didn't feel like it. All I could feel were Diane's hands cradling my head and the water lapping against my shoulders. The minutes ticked by slowly as we all retained our positions frozen to the spot. As I listened to Diane's reassuring voice, I began to feel sleepy in the warm sunlight. Maybe I could just nod off for a few minutes. I would wake up when the ambulance arrived. "How about your left hand?" Dad's voice cut through my thoughts, keeping me present. "Can you move that?" I tried. I really tried to move my left hand. "Anything?" I asked. "What about your right hand?" He hadn't answered my question. Instead, he squeezed his eyes shut, just for a moment. But I caught the flash of panic in them. This was more than a bump to the head. All I could do was try and stay calm. There was nothing I could do to help. 8 months earlier. After a half-day drive up the Pacific Coast Highway, Lois and I had pulled over and found the trail that led into Fife Big Sur State Park. Through the trees the path wound, the redwood trunks shooting up to the sky but still allowing the dappled light through. There was no one else around and we both felt as this woodland was just for us. A couple of miles into our journey, the path fizzled out and we were left with two options: to turn back or to push on and make our own trail. Granted, getting eaten by a black bear probably wasn't high on TripAdvisor's list of things to do in California, but the allure of a bit of adventure was always too tempting. We went with option 2. 3 hours later, we were still in the forest, clambering over fallen redwoods and wading through mountain streams. The hike was starting to take its toll. I studied the map for a few minutes before rotating it 90 degrees. Lois caught me and raised an eyebrow. "Don't worry, Lois, it's fine. I know where we are." She didn't believe me and neither did I. Just as I was wondering whether we'd be the next warning story the rangers would tell other tourists, we emerged from the tree line. Up ahead was the most breathtaking view of the Pacific Ocean. There was nothing but Lois, myself, and the endless sea crashing against the cliffs beneath us. We stopped to rest and gave ourselves time to absorb the moment. During the long nights in hospital that were to come, when my mind started to wander, I often escaped to that place. I would close my eyes and take myself straight back. I drew comfort from the warmth of the sun on my face, the smell of the salt in the air, and the shades of blue where the sky met the Pacific. To think we could have taken the easy option, given up and turned back. To think we would have missed that moment because we were afraid of a little adventure. Life is an adventure, and sometimes the path disappears. Push on and make your own path. It's strange how your mind can try to shield you from the reality of a situation or flip you full force into worst-case scenarios. On that hot April day in the ambulance to Royal United Hospital in Bath, my thoughts were racing. Every eventuality was going through my head, but when my mind wandered towards the negative, I would distract myself by skipping to a positive outcome. This is what helped me the most in the first few hours. Denial or not, it was keeping me calm, and if you're calm, then you're still in control. As we sped along the road, sirens blaring, that calmness turned into tiredness, and I wanted to close my eyes. "You have to try and stay awake, Ed," the paramedic said, watching me closely. I stared up at him. He was being unreasonable. I needed to sleep. Surely there was no harm in that. "Ed, stay awake now. Do not go dropping off." Knowing that the hospital was only a 15-minute drive away, I begrudgingly agreed to try to stay awake for him. What I didn't know at the time was that my mind was